Greetings, greetings, greetings to all my loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, Empress Oracle, your favorite, realest, sexiest spiritual advisor. I hope everybody's doing well today. I hope your week's been good so far. It's pretty hot, guys. So, excuse me if you hear the air. I did not want to die, and I wanted my edges to live, at least for the video. Amen. Now, on behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information has been given to me directly as a divine channel, and any use and or reproduction without the proper acknowledgement or accreditation from where it was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and or individuals. And so it is. Now, Of course, I know y'all seen the title, okay? So, this video is titled, Mistaking Kindness for Weakness. Now, as I tell you guys all the time, my healing wisdom comes from not only what the divine downloads into my medulla oblongata to share with you guys, but it also comes from personal experience. So this topic right here, I should be one of the most experienced individuals in this topic here of mistaking kindness for weakness, because now I got a mouth. I will cuss your ass the fuck out. Yes, I will. Amen. But I also have a heart of gold. And when anybody who has a good heart or anybody who likes to help people considers themselves any type of humanitarian or anything, you know that people love to take kindness for weakness. They love to mistake your kindness for weakness. So today, because a lot of lessons I have to continue to learn over and over, and this is a lesson that I learned again recently from multiple different avenues that Spirit decided to use to teach me this lesson. This is something that I have learned again, and each time you learn a lesson over, it's just like when you read the Bible. Every time you go back and you read the Bible, the story, the parables and the stories, they have a different meaning. Something else stands out to you. You learn something new. That's how learning goes. And that's why certain lessons and certain experiences you have to learn more than once, because there's different angles, there's different perspectives, there's different scenarios, there's different types of lessons that you have to learn that all fall under the same main title. So, as per Webster's dictionary, I'm going to break down the definition of what exactly kindness is and what exactly weakness is, because if the topic is mistaking kindness for weakness, we need to know exactly what that is, right? Right? Exactly. So, as per Webster's dictionary, the definition for kindness, there actually are three basic definitions. So the first one is the quality or state of being kind. The second one is a deed or favor, and the third one is affection. So if somebody displays kindness towards you, that's, for example, a deed or a favor is somebody being kind to you and you're like, dang, I'm hungry as hell, I ain't ate all day, I've been outside working, and somebody just walks up to you and you're like, you know what, I have this hot dog, I just bought this hot dog and I have this extra can of soda, here you go. That's them doing a kind deed for you out of the kindness of their heart. They didn't have to. They're not responsible to take care of you. However, they're extending kindness, because at the end of the day, whatever you put out into the universe is what you receive. So if you put kindness out into the universe, 9 times out of 10, you will receive kindness in return. Now, it may not come from the same source from where you initially gave the kindness. And I think that's where I used to get fucked up at a lot. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I would always expect reciprocity from people from displaying acts of kindness. However, life has taught me that that's not the way that you receive your blessings. A lot of times kindness is the way that you receive your lessons, not the way you receive your blessings. And as per Webster's dictionary, the definition for weakness goes as follows. The definition for weakness, there was also 3 definitions that I felt like we needed to talk about all 3 of them. So here we go. Number 1 for weakness is the quality or state of being weak, an instance or period of being weak, right? So you can have a weak moment, right? You can be known to be a strong person, and you may have a moment of weakness. Guess what? We're all having a human experience. Shit happens, right? Number 2 for weakness is fault or defeat. And the third definition, which has a A and a B, for the third definition, A is a special desire or fondness. B is an object of special desire or fondness. You know what? That's the same damn thing. Not reading out loud. But anywho, yes. So basically, that's why a thing or a person or an item, even an addiction, can be a weakness for people. And that's what we have to understand, because a lot of times people feel as though weaknesses only matter in the gym. They feel as though the only way they can be weak is if they can't lift a substantial amount of weight, right? Or move mountains and shit. But what we have to understand, weakness is internal. Physical strength, that's great. But if you don't truly have inner strength, then that is true weakness, right? So, when people mistake kindness for weakness, it is usually for one of or for a few reasons. Now, I went ahead and I listed a few of these reasons. So, the first reason is they have never experienced true kindness without ulterior motive, so they consider it a weakness. And mind you, all of this right here that I'm reading to you guys, because I know it may seem like I'm talking from self, but this is directly being channeled to me from my spirit guides. I recall directly channeling this and them writing this down for me or having me write it down. Okay? So don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. Yeah. So moving on. The first one is they have never experienced true kindness without ulterior motive, so they consider it as a weakness. And we have all seen people like that. We've all seen people like that. They always feel like there is a catch. Now, everything comes with a price. But sometimes people truly just want to be good and just do you a favor. Number 2 is they were raised to think that any show or display of feminine energy, we're going to call kindness feminine energy because it's softer. Masculine energy is more harder, resilient, tougher. Masculine energy is where people always perceive themselves to need to be strong, whereas feminine energy is more receptive to emotions and feelings and tender acts, right? So, number 2, they were raised to think that any show or display of feminine energy, i.e. kindness, is a form of weakness. And then we have number 3, they live a lifestyle that dictates they uphold a certain persona for public perception. And they feel as though showing kindness would weaken their image and make them appear weak. Now, we see that a lot, especially in social media. We see that a lot as far as the different industries that we have going on that everybody considers popping, i.e. music industry, sports industry, etc., etc. A lot of times, people, they build their persona, they build their character on how they want to be perceived by the public. And of course, as a masculine or masculine energy, there are a lot of people in masculine energy that don't want to be perceived as weak, especially, if they're rappers or rock stars or anything like that. That's a harder core. So of course, they got to keep that persona. They have to wear it like a cloak, which, used to be understandable back in the day, but now we're in a different time where time has went on, evolution has went on to where we are realizing how the lack of feminine energy, the lack of empathy, the lack of kindness, we see how that is negatively affecting people, not just in these industries, but also too in our real lives. We got these hood niggas, they too hood to be nice. So therefore, instead of going and helping somebody and possibly saving a life, they'd rather whip out their phones and say World Star. They'd rather record instead of help, right? Usually, mistaken kindness for weakness can be considered a sort of trauma response of sorts, because their initial and innate action is to abuse the act of kindness as they themselves or a kind act they once attempted was also abused by somebody else. You guys get it? You get what I'm saying? I'm going to say it again. I got you. Usually, mistaken kindness for weakness can be considered a sort of trauma response of sorts, because the initial and innate action is to abuse the act of kindness as that person themselves or an act that they tried to do was abused by somebody else when they were trying to display kindness. You get that? So a lot of people are traumatized whenever they see people showing them kindness. Automatically, the hairs on their arms stand up, the hair on the back of their neck stand up, because they've previously been traumatized where they thought that somebody was showing them kindness, but really they may have just been using that to lure them, right? And then in turn, they turn around and did something traumatic to traumatize them. So now they're hesitant to accept kindness from people, or they look at it whenever somebody shows kindness or expresses kindness, they look at it as a weakness because they remember the time that they were in a weak moment when kindness was displayed or used to get them caught up. That is why the world has become so negative, cold, and pessimistic, because of trauma. People are no longer wanting to outwardly display kind acts for fear of lack of reciprocity. And I know I've experienced that many a times. All right. I know I have been kind to numerous of people, and before I never really used to talk about a lot of the things that I would do for people. And even right now, whenever I do kind things for people and it's not reciprocated, or they in turn turn around and feel negatively about me in any way, shape, or form, it's okay, because I've been through trauma. I've been through so many experiences where I've been kind to people and they mistook it for weakness, that I have learned now it was hard. It was hard, and a lot of these moments were very painful for me, and I'm actually still going through moments like this where my kindness has been abused for weakness, but I learned with each one. But what I have realized is, as I say before, hurt people hurt people. So whenever somebody takes your kindness for weakness, sometimes you cannot take it personal. Sometimes they're projecting. Sometimes it's a trauma response for them. You don't always have to beat yourself up about things. And what I have learned from that experience is the devil will always try to get you in any way, shape, or form that he sees best. So if he knows that having a good heart or having a kind heart is your weakness, that is what he's going to try to destroy. Now, if you know you love to be a giving person, if you know that you love to be a caring person, you can still do that, right? But you have to remember, when challenges come your way, when life lessons come your way, don't re-traumatize yourself. Learn from that experience. Sometimes you have to take a step back to learn from that experience, right? Sometimes you have to understand some people are not able to reciprocate things. And unfortunately for me, it took me a long time to realize that with people. Reciprocity does not always have to be like for like, tit for tat, same thing. That's why we have barter systems in place in the world. That's how commerce, that's how trade, that's how goods and services have been exchanged for the longest. However, a lot of people don't even know how to do that. Some people is by choice, some people is by trauma, some people is by how they were raised, tomato, potato, everybody got their reason why. It's okay. But if you know that you do something with good, pure, positive intentions, and that kindness is not reciprocated, or your kindness is in turn taken for weakness, hey, give it to God. Give it to God. It'll all work out. It'll be okay. Learn from that experience, and please heal. Right? This is a form of emotional abuse, okay? Because of the trauma, because of people taking other people's kindness for weakness, that is a form of abuse. That's a form of emotional abuse. Because if you continue to take somebody's kindness for weakness, that means that every time you come to them, you're using them, you're draining them. That's emotional abuse. People who have the highest propensity towards being guilty of taking people's kindness for weakness are narcissists, or people who display narcissistic tendencies. Because there are people who are not narcissists. However, everybody has their shadow side. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. That person over there next to you is not perfect. The guy behind you is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So everybody has light and dark. Everybody has negative and positive traits or tendencies. Anybody who says that they don't is delusional. Okay, so therefore you do have people that have narcissistic tendencies. Baby narcs, if you want to call them. Baby narc do. Let me see. Okay, my bad, y'all. My bad. I'm back. Okay. The examples are narcissists or people who display narcissistic tendencies, energy vampires, sociopaths and psychopaths, as well as people in a poverty mindset or with a crabs in the barrel mentality. And the reason why I say that, the poverty mindset, the crabs in the barrel mentality, because from my personal experience, right, living in urban areas, chilling in the hood and whatnot, I can't help but to notice when I speak to people, the same people that like to exploit people, the same people that like to drain people of their energy, the same people who have a tendency to mistake people's kindness for weakness and think that they're going to come up off somebody or hit a lick off somebody, tend to be the people who are in the most misfortunate situations, who have a poverty mindset, who grew up in poverty, whether it's by force or by choice. They are still in poverty, or they are still in that poverty mindset, and they also have that crabs in the barrel mentality. Okay, so once they see one person getting up, they're not going to let them get up too high before they try to pull them down, either with evil eye, hate, negativity, taking their kindness for weakness, whatever. This is why it is important to have healthy boundaries established for everybody, so that people do not continue to have you fucked up, so that them not take you for fucking idiot. Okay? Because also what I have learned with this, what I have learned is that boundaries are important. No matter how much you love somebody, no matter how close you feel like you are with somebody, right? You have to establish boundaries, because you never fully know what somebody is going to do. You never fully know how somebody may take your kindness for weakness. You never fully know how, when somebody is in their shadow side, or when somebody is in a negative vibration or a negative energy, you never know how they're going to react. You never know how they're going to retaliate. You never know what they're going to do. You never know. You just never know. So you have to have those boundaries, because you have to protect yourself, because you don't want to just be a host for energy vampires. You don't want to just drain yourself. You don't want to just continue to pour into people's cups where there is absolutely no reciprocity or anything, because then you're doing yourself a disservice in the long run. I'm not saying don't be kind to people, but have your boundaries in place and set up so that once you start noticing that a person either has one of those mentalities or is a narcissist or does display certain tendencies, you can safely remove yourself with as little damage as possible. And I say as little damage as possible because we are all having a human experience. We all have feelings. So those feelings are going to get hurt. Anybody who says their feelings don't get hurt, they're a liar. It is a learning lesson to overcome along the path of becoming your best self, instead of turning your heart cold. Because of course, as I also always say, love is the greatest power of all. So if you're vibrating on the energy of love, your vibration is going to get higher and higher. Your light is going to shine brighter and brighter. That's okay. And you're going to attract more good things to you. So if you let the trauma, or you let the abuse of people taking your kindness for weakness, if you let the abuse of the trauma dim your light, if you let it make you become an introvert when you know you're naturally an extrovert, if you make it harden your heart, how are you going to receive the positive manifestations and blessings from the universe that you've been praying for? So you let somebody else drain you of your good stuff and block you off for the blessings that you deserve. Let's not do that, guys. That is why it's important to pray for discernment. And discernment, for those of you who don't know what discernment means, discernment is the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is not always so obvious at first. So basically, that's like heeding the red flags. That's like oh my God. Excuse me. That's like, paying attention to the little red flags. That's picking up on the vibe, the energy, doing a little temperature check. Sometimes it's not obvious that somebody might be a hater. Sometimes it might not be obvious that somebody might be a user or emotional abuser. Sometimes it's not obvious that somebody's an emotional vampire. Sometimes it's not initially obvious if somebody is taking your kindness for weakness or if they genuinely need your help. That's why it's important for you to have that discernment. And once you start realizing that people have patterns, because of course you have to give everybody a chance, at least one chance. But once you start noticing a pattern with somebody, it's up to you to use your discernment so that when the shit hits the fan, you're prepared. Right? Don't close up your heart. Don't become a cold and bitter person because some people don't appreciate the good things in good people. Keep going, boo. You live, you learn, and then you build boundaries. I made that myself. Y'all like it? That's a lesson that I just recently learned again for the 5,775,000th time. So I figured I'd make a quote about it. You live, you learn, and then you build boundaries. The quote, original quote by Empress Oracle. I hope you guys enjoyed the message. I know I got a little sidetracked a little bit. Y'all know that ADHD be kicking my ass sometimes. But anywho, I hope that you guys were able to learn something from this. Remember, life is a journey. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't be afraid to put kindness out into the universe. Sometimes you show kindness to people who don't deserve it, but it's okay. Don't let that harden your heart. God will bless you in another way. Continue to be a good person. I love you all. And before you leave out, make sure that you check me out on Etsy at Empress Oracle Shop for all of your crystals, healing jewelry, body butters, whatever you may need for your skin or for your spiritual journey. Check me out on Etsy, yeah? I got something for you. I have something for everybody, the whole family. And I also do custom orders. I love you all. Y'all, I need some water, excuse me. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.